I've been going through some things, so much on my brain, just hoping it would change. I've been going through some
Wow, what it do, what it is. Look, man, you back rocking with your boy Ayo. We in the StoryHouse, and you already know how I get down, man. As always, family right here. I'm happy to see y'all, everybody who watching this, you know what I mean? Checking in with your boy, man. We finna have another great episode, another great show. Getting into the topic for this month. I do apologize offhand. I am definitely late on getting this one out, so my apologies. I gotta get on it, trying to get better. December has been crazy for you, boy, so I ain't even gonna stunt you. That's why I've been held up a little bit getting this out, but I had to make sure I recorded this at least before we actually had the community session for the actual story house that we having right now. So that's what's going on right now. So look, y'all already know, man. If you checking in here, go ahead. Or you watching this, hit them buttons, the like, comment, subscribe, get the notification bell, check all of that. Yeah, man. Just to make sure you're getting everything StoryHouse, you're getting to tap in, man. For me, it's always love. I super appreciate anytime I'm able to have an event, people come up and we do anything. It's just a real good time. So our most recent community session, just to go ahead, had a quick check-in with y'all. We had it at Midtown Park, as we typically have. And one of the dope things for me about it is that, you know, once we get people going there, we kind of going in through the conversation. But before we actually had the community session meeting, it was somebody who was walking around as I was setting up and, you know, just kind of sparked the conversation with the young lady and, you know, just kind of inviting her, letting her know, hey, what's going on? This would be a cool time to come up. And she was like, hey, look, is it okay to talk about what I want to talk about if I pull up? I'm like, yeah, for sure. And like, I like to talk about God. I'm like, love, this is good. And so, you know, eventually she wound up looping around while we going, still walking around, and then just eventually kind of like stopped over. And to me, that was real cool. The fact she stopped over and just kind of wanted to inquire about it because I had already spoke with her about it, you know, just kind of getting the vibe from the people who are already there. And then, hey, I ain't even have to be the person that invited her, just the community invited her to be like, hey, look, if you coming around, you might as well go ahead and join in the conversation with us. And she wound up dropping in, joining the conversation. To me, that's super dope. So it'd be love if you get to pull up to the next one. And it just everybody in the area who, if any of this at any point in time sounds like something that you feel like you can benefit from or just would appreciate, you always welcome to come in. It doesn't matter. Like I always say, when you pull up to community session, you can talk about things, you can just listen in, whatever it is, just as long as you pouring into the community in some kind of way of taking from the community and just being a part of the community, really, man, it's all love from now. So like my biggest thing is, man, it's a safe share space anytime you pull up to a community session, and it's just really all about that, just being able to safely talk about what it is you have going on based on our stories. Now, some of my things with it, I do definitely try to make sure we stay to a story because I want to have it to where we continue to meet once a month at least. And with that, you know, sometimes we got heavy things that's on our heart at the moment, but I try to make sure it leans in toward you being able to provide a story whenever you share something, like or some type of story, background dialogue to what you're saying, and not just emotions just freely flowing. Because I do want to have people to have a space for that, but also kind of channeling it a little bit through a story. That way, when you come in, you can kind of talk about, even if you have the same kind of emotion that hits you in different kind of ways, you can have a different story so that you're sharing something new. And, you know, just kind of making sure we all have something we can take away from every time that we meet for StoryHouse. So that's what I'm looking forward to on this one. Just can't wait to have it come up. People coming up for it. So with that being said, I do have to go ahead and kick off this StoryHouse for the first time. We're going to be meeting at Trebley Park. So I believe Trebley Park is a part of downtown Houston. So we're going from Midtown to downtown. If you know Houston, that's right there beside each other. if you somebody like myself, you barely know the difference between the two. So like we're going to just be over at Trebley Park, downtown Houston. And part of the reason for me doing that is I feel like Trebley Park, both parks are pretty easy to get to, easy to park around, get into. But also Trebley Park has a coffee shop on hand. So if the weather gets, whether it rains, too cold, anything like that, and today I believe it is going to be a little bit colder, we got a coffee shop we can move into. And I already spoke with them so that we had a space for, though I enjoy being able to meet outside, had that free space. Hey, we got an area that we can move into and still have a great community session without having too many things moved around. So that'll be the game plan for today. So today is Tuesday, December 30th. We will be meeting for the community session, 6:30 p.m. at Trebley Park. And like I said, most likely we'll be going inside to Toot Suite, which is on site at the park. So we'll just be going inside of there and, you know, still having a great, amazing conversation that we always have. Of course, if you do pull up, hey, man, Patreon with the place that we at. I'll try to buy some drinks for people who are up there just to kind of, you know, let them know we appreciate them allowing us to come into their space. So we just want to show, like, we're a community of love. So, like, we're going to show love to those who show love to us. You know what I mean? Man, guys, it has been a while. Like it always felt like a while for me anytime between coming back to the sessions with this community, this StoryHouse part right here, just a video portion of it. As I always tell y'all, to me the biggest thing is the actual meeting in person. Like this is a space for me to more or less get out what it is that I feel I want to share on the topic, to just kind of set a tone for it, to give people an idea of it. If you like, oh, I haven't heard of it, and you just run across it, that's the biggest thing to me, because I've always been an in-person communicator. Like I like seeing somebody in person. I like having a conversation. I like seeing you face to face and having that talk, and that's more or less where I shine at. So without too much ado, let me go ahead and get into it. So for this StoryHouse right here, this StoryHouse show, for the upcoming community session, the topic is going to be new views. And I felt like just kind of how we did last month, leaning into like the season, leaning into the time of year that we're going into. So far, with the topics that we've done let down. So whether it's you letting somebody down or people who let you down for something, we've done letting go, things that you've had to learn to let go of. And with Thanksgiving last month, we did something you've grown to be thankful for. So with this year, we're going into the new year, new visions. So we having new views. And with that, just to kind of elaborate on more or less what the topic is anything that you've had to, you've gone a significant portion of your life, and then you had something happen, you had an experience that opened up your views to see things differently. And I feel like, to me, that's an important thing to have within life, because don't get me wrong, I'm a big believer in, hey, have your beliefs, stick to your beliefs. If somebody pushes against your beliefs, be able to stand strong enough with them to be able to push back. But also an important part of being able to push back with those is also still having the openness within your mind, to where if somebody legitimately gives you, if you know you have strong beliefs and you're somebody who's not easily bend into someone else's will, having a strong belief, but when someone's able to legitimately present you with new information, you can open up your views and you can shift the way that you're viewing, and not just be so stuck in your ways. So it's like, oh, this is the right way. This is the way, because it's the way I've always known it. It's okay to have that, but it's okay to also realize, hey, actually, I don't agree with what I used to think. I said something, and when I said it before, I was firm and I believed it. I don't believe that no more. And that's okay to be able to change your views. If you should always, in my opinion, as a human, be forever growing, getting new, taking in new information. So if all your beliefs are based on what you had at a different point in time, you haven't experienced enough life to understand some of your views you had to change, have some type of shift. Some of it's like, a lot of times it's based on trauma. And so for me, let me go ahead and get into it for me. Now on this one, I really had to think a little bit like, all right, I know it's a lot of things that I've had in my life where new views have come about, but really being able to articulate and like focus in on one. And after I sat and thought with it for a minute, the thing that I really wanted to lean into, like my new views, the thing that I learned within life, that was a big life-changing moment for me, really is this whole thing right here that we're doing. Like, to me, StoryHouse is all about mental awareness. I say it's mental health, obviously, but I say mental awareness because just to bring the awareness of what you have going on, because you can talk about your mental health, but if you're not aware of how you're operating, ways to better yourself and different things in that space, you have to have the awareness of what's going on within yourself and what's around you to be able to properly operate. And so for me, learning more things in regards to mental health and how I view it was an important thing. So just off basis, Black man, America, I grew up in the South. So I definitely grew up with a bit more traditional kind of ideologies. Like, I don't think I necessarily look down on certain things, but though right now I do not go to therapy. I am in 0% opposed to therapy. I actually in certain circumstances and for a lot of situations recommend therapy. Feel like it was a great thing for some people. And I feel like there would be benefits for me. Just right now I'm not in therapy. But I would probably say when I was younger, I wouldn't have said had the same belief. I wouldn't have had a lot of the same things that I think right now. I wouldn't even probably be able to have this conversation and have the same openness that I have right now when I talk about this. So I've always been someone who's been big on protecting my peace. So like within my life, it's always been a thing trying to find ways to like, what's a space that gives me peace? Try to isolate and be around things that actually bring me real joy and happiness without having the vocabulary possibly to articulate it. And I feel like with different experiences, having conversations with more people have exposed me to more information. One, just seeing different things has just really opened up my viewpoint. So for me, I started with a basis of being just like, relationships, like my longest relationship I had as an adult, that would probably be a big thing because this is a person I cared about, had love for, and love. You know what I mean? Still, we still rock, so homie. But we ain't together. I ain't all right. I'm not getting to that. But yeah, so it's just that's the homie. But it's just like one of them situations where having the more exposure to that person, like really realizing the value of this person, but having different conversations and both seeing how I view things and how they view things got me more exposed to how the mental aspect is playing into the way we interact with each other and the things that you've been through, like whether it's the trauma that they've had, like so many conversations. I won't overly expose their information here. That's not my story to tell, but just the things that they explained to me and informed me about gave me a new way of viewing so many different things, like without it being so much where previously it might have been more black and white, like, oh, that person's stupid, they doing something, or that person don't know no better, or whatever kind of thing. It allowed me to have the nuance to understand mental health to where there's so much more going on with somebody as to why they may do something. So that to me had such a big impact on one part of why our relationship didn't work, but just also seeing more things because through that relationship, I personally feel like I have such a better view of one. And anytime I'm dating a woman now, like having a better understanding, like I want there to be understanding when we have a conversation. I understand the importance of having when you have a misunderstanding. Like to me, at this point, I feel like most times people have a problem is just purely misunderstanding because most people aren't trying to hurt you. Like you're not trying to hurt my feelings. I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. We had a misunderstanding. Do we have a space to be able to have a conversation to get clarity, even if we don't agree? But we can at least get clarity to understand where each other's coming from. And I feel like I've grown to have a lot more appreciation for the importance of having mental health conversations, having deeper conversations. Like I've always leaned into deeper conversations, but I wouldn't have had the same appreciation and ability to take in information from someone as well as taking information for myself in the mental health space, because it would have been a lot more, when you go to therapy, something wrong with you. Or you doing something else, it's a problem. It's like understanding you can even go to therapy if you don't have a problem just because you need to have that addition. You see the value in having that additional space to have that conversation. For me, I'm a big person in community, which is why I have community sessions. I'm a big person that I want to have a conversation with somebody. I've always believed, let me have a conversation with somebody. And even though I didn't have the vocabulary to understand it, having an open view to understanding more about mental health and how much it impacts basically everything that we do. Like whether it's your healthy mental health, like you might be having success in an area of life because your mental health is in a bad space. And for me personally, that's not something I want. Like I don't want to have growth because I'm mistreating my mental health, but find out the balance in between that of making sure that your mind is okay as well as your body and, and that you're putting in the work with things. And so that's really been a thing for me, like through this time of my life, having more conversations. And honestly, I wouldn't even say just that one person in dating. Pretty much any woman I've significantly had a conversation with and dated, we've dove into conversation that in one way or another opened my mind to an aspect of communication, understanding, viewpoints that to me, I feel like your mental leads everything. Everything that you do is based upon that. So just having those additional conversations that really made me appreciate people. And it's so many different things, like whether it's, like I said, I really don't want to dive into other people's business because that's always like I want to make sure anything I'm talking about is my story. But it's just the fact of learning so much more about people when someone can tell you about the things that hurt them. Someone can show you anger, like whether someone lashing out at me, someone trying to disrespect me. I'm big on my boundaries, so it's a limit on how crazy you can talk to me. But then being able to have a dialogue and understanding, you may have come from a household to where that was the way people spoke to each other. That was love to you. To understand, like for me, it might have been as simple as, you tripping, you crazy. But because now I can have a better understanding of how mental health comes into play with situations, I can understand, all right, we got to grow past this. Like if I want to bond and build with you, but you can't yell at me. That can't be your default on how you communicate with me. But I can now respect and understand, and I won't instantly shun you if you communicate to me and we can have the conversation that, my mom and dad talk like this. My friends talk like this. This is how everyone I've ever interacted with spoke like this. But there was a point in time in my life, you just would have sounded stupid to me. And also just like the conversations around mental health in general, like even for me, with my friends, like people who would be beforehand, like before I feel like I've grown a lot more in my adulthood. I mean, life happens, so we just should grow continuously. But just like talking with friends about experiences that they may have had and like places that they may have been at other times in life and understanding, oh, you had all of this going on. Damn, I wish I knew. But it's like understanding, like whether it's the pride or it's just the fact of how you feel and like how much something can be weighing on you mentally. Like talking to a friend and them telling me, oh man, I had this going on, this going on, this going on. I'm like, damn, bro, I didn't know you had all this going on while we still over here. We all laughing, joking, and whenever we meeting up, it's love. And we playful and shit, but it's like you got real things going on within your life, young age, like college type of times. And it's just like being able to appreciate how much mental health can play into that, because it's like, all right, where you at mentally? Do you have someone to support you? Are you like you making a decision? Like, and they may not all lead you down the worst paths, because sometimes you might make a decision out of a bad space mentally and it gets you to a good space, but it's just understanding how much it can impact what you have going on. I really feel, I'm not gonna lie, on this one, I really feel like I wasn't able to too much. I haven't been able to like articulate it because I'd have to tell somebody else's story, and I just don't believe in that. It's just not my personal thing. Like if the story directly impacts me, so to that point of stories that directly impact me, the aspect of like dating women and kind of having that more experience of like more volatile ways of speaking, that's something I personally have dealt with a lot of times. And for me, it's not like as simple as just being like, oh, that's just women. Women don't know how to deal with their emotions, man, whatever. Dudes, we all struggle with our emotions and dealing with it. But it's just the fact of having people who, once I have the additional conversation, understand, no, this isn't just you lashing out. This is how you've grown, and this is the space that you've been in to where mentally, this is how you feel like it's okay to communicate with somebody else. And for me, it's a space of having, I don't like this for me. This ain't acceptable for me. But also, I've had enough conversation with you to know you're coming from a loving space, and like generally, that's the space that you're in is love. You might be angry right now, but you're not a bad person. It's in this moment, and that's how you know to communicate. And can we have the conversation to understand this isn't acceptable behavior? You wouldn't enjoy for me to speak to you this way, and though you are used to it and you're okay, you'll let it slide, because that's what you think's supposed to happen. You would not prefer that to be happening. Like when it happens, you don't enjoy it. And so just kind of that's a thing for me with getting a better understanding for mental health and appreciation for it, to where I just won't be like, well, fuck you then. It's more of a, hey, fuck that shit you on, but let's work on this, because this ain't what you want to do and this ain't what I want to do kind of thing. And yeah, just all those kind of aspects for me is just really having so much more of an appreciation for understanding your mental health, understanding where you are mentally. And for me, instead of like just being like, oh, I'm okay, like, that's a regular thing. I feel like a lot of times everything is, oh, I'm okay. And it's all right that you're not all right. Like, to me, that's a regular thing. I really feel like it's so important to understand it's okay that you're not all right. It's good when you're good. Give real acknowledgement to what your feelings are, because the dismissal of them, especially unless you're just like, all right, I don't want to talk to you. But if you don't have any time, any space of when you're dealing with more volatile, not even say volatile, but like deeper emotions, if you don't ever feel okay with having a conversation with it, I feel like it's a bit dangerous, because it's like you're only bottling up inside of you. And so what are you releasing? Do you only release anger? Do you only release certain things? Like what is it that you allowing it to be out? And I feel like, I just really appreciate anytime I can have conversations with people and get a better understanding of mental health, get a new aspect, a new understanding. Honestly, for me, with even doing the StoryHouse community sessions up to this point, like the meetings that I've had people come in and say things, and it's opened up my views on like an aspect of things going on in mental health, because one, I only have my experiences, and I have the experiences that I'm secondhand to, of hearing somebody else tell me about it. But until I have those, I can't have the appreciation. I can't have the nuance to view things from another kind of way. So for me, that's one of my favorite things. Why I always say, though it's so important to share your stories when it comes to community sessions, is also so much value in hearing stories, because I can have more empathy, I can have better empathy, and I can have a better understanding to how to be there for somebody, or what's the push and pull and understanding of someone else's situation, because you've articulated to me and I've listened. Because if I don't listen, if I just instantly judge you, I can't have a real understanding of what you got going on. But once you explain it to me better, now I can have more nuance. So if all that what I said makes sense, that's what I would say for like what for me as a new view that I've had like within life, and I really want to have that lead into like my 2026 and everything, every day always moving forward. With StoryHouse coming up, I do want to like touch base on a couple things, that's always kind of been in my mindset with it, but I haven't as well articulated. But just like a few things to me, like something I had in my mind as a word, like the standard, like a single standard, always has been a mindset when it comes to StoryHouse and community sessions. And like for me, the standard would be like, we have a single standard of respect and compassion for everyone in our community. We have no double standards when it comes to mental health. And to me, what that just more or less says is it doesn't matter it doesn't matter your race, your background, your gender, any of those kind of things. Like I feel like in life, a lot of times we operate with a double standard. It's like, you a man, you need to be tough. Oh, you a woman, you need to handle, like, it's not any of that kind of thing, but mental health is mental health. We all trying to be okay. And if you trying to like brush somebody else's emotions and feelings away just because of some standard that you have based on their demographic that they should be okay, like, nah, it's not all right. Like, give that person a space to have their feelings. We're all humans, individuals, and just give us the opportunity, because I don't care if you come from a rich background. You can come telling me about your sad-ass rich background that I know nothing about, because it isn't about that at the end of the day. It's about how you feel. And if I care about you as a person, I care about you as a person. The other stuff that is about your aspects, and that's irrelevant. Do I care about how you're doing? And so to me, that's the big thing on showing up. Now with the community session, do have like, one with a smooth, easy little 10 rules to kind of like keep us easy, to make sure you're on the same page and you like respecting whatever somebody has going on. So rule number 1 I have is safety. Look, and the safety, for safety is to maintain the safety of the space. Remember that everything said during the community sessions is meant to be kept in the confidence of the session and not shared beyond it. And I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, because people sharing vulnerable things. This isn't like an official therapy session, but it's like sometimes it's therapeutic. And so if someone comes there and wants to have that vulnerable space, to me, it's important. I want to make sure the other people listening to it understand this isn't something to go share and tell somebody else's business. This is a space to just how you want to feel safe and you want to feel able to be vulnerable within that. Understand that any information you're hearing, if that person doesn't okay for you to have it beyond that, or y'all had that conversation beyond it, don't disrespect their story in that kind of way. 2 is respect, and that's to please keep all devices on silent while others are sharing, to not interrupt them, and to give their story the respect it deserves. I say again, pretty direct. Like, if you kind of talking and you're being vulnerable, especially if you get to a point of you telling a story that just may have you crying, like you see somebody else just over there like texting away and like just having something going on, it's like, dang, these people don't really even care about what I'm talking about. You don't want to have that space. Or even worse, somebody who is doing it and then you're up next and you're finna speak and you're like, oh, these people over here playing around on their phone. They don't care about what I'm talking about. We just gotta kind of just respect somebody else while they're going to have that. And I would even speak to it, just because I'm always about transparency. On like our very first community session, we had somebody, guy had something going on. He had something he had to get to and some work that he had to get done. But he wanted to stay there, so he was like, do y'all mind if I get on my laptop and work on something while we had this going on? And he still was engaging with the community, but because he inquired, spoke that to the group, it's not like some secret thing he's going on. He's just like disregarding it. We already, oh yeah, that's cool that you bring it in, do your thing. You want to stay here, and there's love at that point in time, because that communication allowed it to where it's no longer feeling disrespectful. It's you respectfully ask for this, and now the community is aware of what's going on. 3 is listen. Listen to find understanding of where the storyteller is coming from. We are all unique individuals, so give consideration to those with different views than yourself. And I was just speaking to the fact of we all have exactly what it is. We're all coming from different places, so understand when you're listening to somebody, don't just listen to it with it purely a view of I wouldn't have done that, I wouldn't have did this. Oh, that sounds stupid. You're not them. You haven't experienced their experiences. Give the empathy to whatever they're telling you to understand, to grow your opinion of or your views on what they may have gone through, to have like, oh, well, I may have never been in that experience, but I'm sorry for that person going through that. And sometimes just being able to understand how they got there sometimes. Because to me, sometimes I feel like when you hear somebody else's story, it's like, oh, that's stupid that they got there. But it's like, if you understand like the multiple steps that someone took to get there, it doesn't sound so crazy once you understand there was a lot that happened that got that person in that situation. 4 is speak. Look, you are never required to share a story, but we do always ask that you remember that you have a story that can provide value to someone else just by hearing you. Like I told you, like for me, hearing people talk every time is like I'm learning something new. I'm getting new information from people there, and it grows my view on the world. So for me, it's always appreciated anytime I can have and hear somebody tell something new. So I know it's value for me having that, and just understand if you kind of like quiet person, it'll be value for other people hearing your story. Consent. Look, it takes a lot to share a personal story, and some people just want to share without receiving feedback. Please confirm a storyteller is okay with feedback before giving it. Look, a big thing with StoryHouse, with the community sessions, we have conversations, we talk back and forth with each other, but sometimes if you're selling something vulnerable, you don't want to have somebody pushing back against your story when you just wanted to let it out. So anytime that you want to have like a conversation back with somebody or giving feedback, I just ask that you please give that consideration. Like ask them, is it okay to give feedback, to just get that consent so that you know that that person is in a space where they're able to, at least you've had the conversation so where they know, oh, I'm now about to receive feedback, whether good or bad, just like they're in that space. So just to give that respect. 6 is time. Every story is important, so we ask that you keep your storytelling to under 10 minutes so that everyone who wants to share has an opportunity to do so. Like, I understand we have so many deep stories that are shared when we meet for community sessions, but I also want to give everyone the opportunity. I don't ever want to have to like disrespect your story to cut you off, especially when you're in an emotional state. And sometimes you may go a little bit over, understand that. But having that general understanding, hey, I'm not the only person here. I want to give everyone the opportunity to go there. And if once we kind of wrap up and we have some extra time, hey, bet we can go into more of these stories, give more feedback, have more conversation, but at least make sure you're considering everyone to get them the opportunity. Grace, allow yourself the space to feel however it is you truly feel. Hiding emotions from yourself only means you'll have to search later for what you already know you feel. And for me, that's just like a general one. If you have whatever feelings, like if a story come to your mind when you hear people talking or when it's your time coming up, just allow yourself the grace to truly give your real emotions. Like you may not have to give us everything, but make sure at least with yourself that you're being truthful. Like you're being honest with yourself and giving yourself that grace to feel how you really feel. You don't have to shun your feelings. Feelings are feelings. The way you act upon it is a different thing, but just allow yourself to really feel how you feel. You can't even change how you feel if you don't honestly acknowledge those feelings. Focus. Keep conversations focused on the storyteller. Do not have side conversations while someone else is sharing their story. That was just out of respect again right there. Like don't have side things going on because someone's having a conversation. If we're in a space to where someone's the focus, make sure you're giving that person that respect to that. You wouldn't want to have someone else side talking and having all kind of little other jokes and things going on, especially you having a real story and they're joking about something because they're not paying attention. It can feel a certain type of way, and that's not what I want to have in StoryHouse community sessions. 9 is growth. We are all here striving to be better. As you leave, remember to continue to work, and that even when the growth is small and hard to see, it is still happening. So look, no matter how small it is, the things you have, we are always growing. So as long as you're pulling up here with the intention and doing your best to grow, even if you're like, oh man, I'm barely growing. You hear somebody else telling a story, like, oh, they done had all these changes. Appreciate your growth. Don't focus on comparison. Appreciate your growth to where it's like, anytime you're pulling up, man, you as long as you're becoming a better person, your pace is your pace. Like I go to run clubs, like a lot of people I know I'll be meeting is from like some of the run clubs I run around the city. And like whether it's ZFT or Soul Ties, those are two that I done ran with, but it's like they all have pace groups. It's okay that ain't your pace group isn't the one at the front. If you doing your thing in your pace group, and especially if you know like you done potentially started at the run club and you done moved up a pace group, it's still ain't the front one, but you done still moved up. Appreciate your growth. So like just don't get too caught up in comparison and appreciate the small growth, big growth, whatever it is. Just appreciate your continuous growth. And number 10 is love. Life can feel hard at times, so remember to lead with love when engaging with yourself and others. It becomes just a little bit easier. So yeah, just man, love. As long as you doing things with love, have love at the forefront of the things that you're having going on, it's a little bit easier, man. It don't fix everything. It don't just make everything okay. It don't make like you do something messed up to somebody. Love isn't just gonna fix it, but it gives you the space to fix it. Love itself doesn't fix it, but it gives the space for you to do other things within yourself to fix it. Like you have love for me, you're gonna try to consider you might have done something messed up, or I got love for you, I might have did something wrong towards you, or wrong toward myself. But if I have love for myself, I can work on myself and just make everything better. So that's everything that I have before this StoryHouse community session we got coming up. I can't wait to see y'all, man. So like, look, again today, Tuesday, December 30th, Trebley Park. We'll be meeting 6:30 p.m. We'll probably be going into Toot Suite because it's going to be cold outside. Now, I'm not trying to be freezing. And another thing we're gonna be doing a little bit of vision boarding. Now, I personally never like done vision boarding like that, but for me, it's just like we're gonna have it to where if you have things that's on your goals and like your vision for 2026, hey, we're just gonna kind of like write people's names down and write on a list. That way we can kind of as a community hold each other positively accountable. Like, and because sometimes you hold somebody accountable, like, oh, what you doing? You done it? You done it? You done it? Nah, it's like, hey man, I want to check on with you. I know some of the things that you had on your list of goals for this year, and I care enough to know, hey, how's it going with that? And so I want to be able to have that space so we can look back and reflect on that, the people who come to today's community session to know, hey, look, we care about you and we want to make sure to be there for you as we can, that you're having the growth in those spaces. So with that, man, I don't got too much more. I really can't wait to see y'all today, man. Again, man, it's all love. It's always love. Please remember, like I say, follow on socials, StoryHouse.xo on anything, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, any of that kind of stuff. And yeah, man, I really ain't got too much, man. So y'all already know, man, you ain't got to leave, but you got to go well. You can't stay up in the Story House until next week, man. So I just always say, look, man, Story House is just a name. It's just it's like a house. House is a building. Story House is a house. It is your presence that makes it a home. You being here is what makes it love, which makes it everything that it is, which makes it beautiful. So until then, man, it's love. I can't wait till y'all. See y'all next time. See y'all later on today. On that note, it's your boy Ayo. I'm out this thing. You hear me? Y'all be easy, man. It's love.
I've been going through some things, so much on my brain, just hoping it would change. I've been going through some things, so much on my